All right, describe the intervals on which the function is continuous. Okay, so we have the function f of x equals x plus 9 over the square root of x. All right, so where do we start? Before we worry about continuous and not continuous, let's first determine where the function even exists. What is the domain of the function? So the domain of a function is all real numbers except the ones that break a rule. Any rule. So in this problem, it looks like there's two rules that apply. We have a fraction, so there's a rule with fractions. You can't have 0 on the bottom. And we have a square root, and there's a rule that has to do with square roots. You can't take the square root of a negative number. So the domain of this function is, well, we know x cannot equal 0, because that will give you a 0 on the bottom of the fraction. And we also know x can't be negative, because you can't take the square root of a negative number. So x can't be negative, it can't be 0, but x could be any positive number. So the domain of this function is 0 to infinity. Now, describe the intervals on which the function is continuous. To determine where a function is continuous, the most direct way of doing that is figure out where it's not continuous, and then throw those numbers out. So are there any values between 0, well, from 0 and up, where this function is not continuous? Well, no, there's no positive number is going to create any issue with this function. So the function is also continuous on the interval, open interval 0 to infinity. Okay, and that answers the question at hand.